Okay, hey everybody, what's up? Good to have you back. This is week number 12 of our distance learning experiment. This is going to be a short video, but it's an important video. We've reached a really exciting moment in our course. So we're going to break this up into two parts. The first part, we're going to talk about what has happened in Romeo and Juliet so far, and what we want to do to prepare ourselves as we read the final act, Act 5. And then part 2 in the video is really just going to be a conversation about the calendar, what this week's work looks like, and what we expect to be completed. And then we're done. So let's check it out. Romeo and Juliet so far has just been such a wild roller coaster ride of a play. We have two characters, Romeo and Juliet, from competing families. They have this kind of forbidden love affair, but each one is really constrained by all of these forces that they can't really seem to control. For Juliet, she is trying to deal with her dad, who is really this kind of mean, overbearing, completely controlling character in her life. He wants her to marry County Paris, a wealthy suitor. But of course, she doesn't. And in order to get out of marrying Paris, she fakes her own death. Now, of course, this is kind of a silly plot twist. I think our understanding of how science works would pretty much lead us to believe that what she does is physically impossible. She drinks this potion that makes her have no pulse and makes her body appear to be very cold and stiff, like a corpse. But you know, there would be no way for you not to have a pulse and still be alive. So we just have to go along with it because it's a play. Juliet wants so badly not to marry Paris that she fakes her own death. And of course, for Romeo, he wants so badly to be with Juliet, but he gets tangled up in this mess in Act 3, and he is exiled to a neighboring town called Mantua. So what we want to look for in Act 5 is the resolution of the story. How is Shakespeare going to take this tangled plot line and finally lead us to this moment of exciting conclusion? What we also want to do is look at some of these supporting characters. We have characters like Friar Lawrence, we have characters like the nurse, and these characters play a small role in the play, but they're very important roles. So we see the nurse, like let's talk about the nurse really quickly. She is like Juliet's, basically like her mother, the mother figure in her life. Her biological mother is pretty cold to her, pretty cool. And even the nurse says that maybe the best thing to do is marry Paris, that Romeo is exiled, you're never going to see him again. And of course, this pushes her pushes Juliet kind of over the edge. And she's like, okay, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to drink this potion. We'll see what happens. So that's what has happened so far. In Act 5, we want to look at how things wrap up. We want to keep a really close eye on some important lines, especially toward the end. And then when we're done with this whole thing next week, in next week's video, we'll get a chance to do some wrap-up stuff, and we'll talk a little bit about how Romeo and Juliet is still remembered today. This is still a widely performed play and a widely studied play. Even amongst all the Shakespearean plays, Romeo and Juliet is up there. Why is it? How does it continue to impact us today? That's the topic of next week's conversation. So I hope you'll tune in and check it out then. So, all right, we've talked a little bit about Acts 1 through 4. We talked a little bit about things to check out, things to look out for as we finish the play. We read Act 5. Let's get into the calendar this week and talk about what we're going to do. So for week 12, for Monday's class, you're going to read Act 5, scenes 1 and 2. These are fairly longer scenes, but they're very important because they help to lead us toward that moment of climax and ultimately toward that resolution. Just like in previous weeks, you're going to jot down any questions, thoughts, or notes on important passages, and those jots, those notes, are just for your own records. And then for Wednesday's class, you're going to finish the play. This is Act 5, scenes 3 to the end. You're going to respond to the questions that are posted to the website. Just like the previous questions, they're either evens or odds. You do not have to respond to all of them. And then you're going to post your thinking to Turnitin.com no later than the end of the week. Now, just like I said in previous videos, if you have some extra time and you want to watch a comparison between the older version, the Franco Zeffirelli movie version, and the newer movie version from a director named Baz Luhrmann, definitely check that out. The endings of these films are very different, but extremely exciting. And again, you can find those clips posted to the website yeah, go there, check them out, compare, and ask yourself how the vision in your own mind compares to these films. Maybe you had something entirely different going on when you were reading this and listening to it. I don't know. So, all right, that's what this week looks like. We're going to finish reading Romeo and Juliet. We're going to jot down important notes. We're going to respond to the questions that are posted on my website, and we're going to post our thinking, the responses to those questions, to turnitin.com. Of course, if you have any other questions, concerns, let me know. Post them to the group chat or reach out directly. And then until we see each other again, be good to yourself, be good to everybody else, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.